I know.
Today we're going to be looking at a video called Why Woke People Are Making Everything Ugly. It's a video from the channel Think Before You Sleep. That's right, old friend of the show. I made a couple videos about this channel and I'm going to keep doing it because I have a lot of fun. The video loosely centers around criticizing an ad campaign from the soap company Dove, which is Dove's real virtual beauty campaign, which focuses on inclusivity and representation for women in video
I'm
games.
mad.
The plan
I'm
here
already
is
mad. I hate inclusivity. I hate when people try to do marketing to people that aren't, generic white dudes.
Go through his video and look at some of the arguments made in it. Arguments in support of his general thesis that this ad campaign is bad for various reasons, including the fact that it is part of a larger trend of wokeness in media, and wokeness is bad for various reasons. What does wokeness mean in this case? Well, we're going to find out, I'm sure. Think Before You Sleep tends to jump around a bit in his videos, so I've ordered the arguments in a way that I think makes most sense for viewers. If you want to see his video though in all its glory, I've linked it below so you can go check it out to make sure I'm not misrepresenting anything. Okay, we're doing this again. Let's begin right now. So to start things off, this video is a little bit tough to break down because a lot of it is just Think Before You Sleep giving his opinions on stuff. These opinions are often generally unrelated to actual critiques of the Dove ad campaign. So for example, this clip.
Oh look, the ad comes with an article. We're bringing real beauty to the virtual world. Does the term beauty even mean anything anymore? Or is everybody just the same regardless of effort?
You know what's really funny about this? It's a soap commercial, dog. You're not using any soap ever for the rest of your life. Why do you care? Do I sit around and criticize tampon commercials? No. I have no use for them. You very clearly have no use for soap. So why the fuck are you talking about who they're marketing soap to, motherfucker? I can hear it in your goddamn voice.
You're all 10 out of 10s in mommy's eyes. Thanks for the participation trophy, Dove.
He thinks that these women are not hot. He does not think they're beautiful. They're definitely not 10 out of 10s. So the definition of beauty is here being perverted by Dove. But all of this relies on the assumption that beauty has some objective definition, which is an opinion that happens to be very silly, but that's just my opinion. So we got a stalemate there. He later talks about how he went to an art museum with another anti-feminist YouTuber and that he didn't like the art. And then he takes a random shot at these YouTubers' thumbnails because he also doesn't like them.
There is so much crap in the frame that I have no idea what to focus on, but apparently a lot of anti-capitalist YouTube channels think that this style of art that has all the grace of a messy room looks good because a number of them use this ugly style of elementary school collage art to create their thumbnails.
Okay, man, sounds good. Can't really do anything with that though. Or this clip.
About a month ago, Dove came out with their latest body positivity campaign by partnering with Epic Games and using the Unreal Engine to create 3D models of realistic women. Wait, this was done with Unreal Engine? Really? Why do all these models look like crappy World of Warcraft avatars from 2006? Dove has hundreds of millions of dollars and this is the best they can come up with for their banner? I mean, there are YouTubers working by themselves on no budget making full AAA quality playable renders with Unreal Engine, while these renders from Dove barely break the PS2 era.
So Dove is a bad, lazy company because their graphics are worse than a Zelda animation that a YouTuber made with a fraction of the budget. The key word there is worse because, again, that's subjective. He's acting as if the objective barometer for a quality animation is that you need 10 RTX 9090s to render it. But these Dove animations were not created with that purpose of supreme 8K quality in mind. Also, I will say that to me, these just look like Fortnite characters, and Fortnite runs on Unreal Engine. I don't feel like they're that much different. But regardless, that's not what they're supposed to be about. They're about representation. So to someone who's interested in representation in games, the Dove animation would likely be better. Think Before You Sleep is not one of those people, clearly. And so, all right, we can't really say anything about that. It's just how he feels, and that's great for him. One last example that I thought was kind of funny was him saying that because the reason he plays games is to escape reality, characters in games shouldn't be ugly because he doesn't want to insert himself into an ugly character.
Oh, that's hilarious. Just another self-report.
Not to mention that video games are primarily about escapism, and if I'm playing a character, I want to play someone who is more attractive than me so I can self-insert and escape from my less glamorous life. Why would I want to fantasize about being ugly?
So he doesn't want to fantasize about being ugly. He wants to instead fantasize about being the juicy thighs muscle mommy Chun-Li. That's fine, actually. I think that's totally fine.
I was about to say, that's valid. I mean, who amongst us? You know what I mean? Who hasn't wanted that?
But once again, that's his opinion, right? That video
I like
games are
looking at
primarily
that.
about one thing, the thing that he happens to care about. All right, so since the opinions can't be addressed, we're just going to move forward and look at the arguments. I know I could have done this first, but I feel like the opinions are such a substantial part of his video that I needed to talk about them before moving on, but maybe that's wrong. I don't know. So first up, Think Before You Sleep makes the argument that Dove is a lazy company because they show a statistic on the screen that he doesn't believe is true.
Real beauty takes effort, and everything about this project from Dove says, we put no effort into this. For example,
That's pretty funny to just be like, this multi-million-dollar marketing scheme that they put together, they actually put no effort into because, because it doesn't appeal to this guy's tastes.
You were not there. You don't exist. The things are not made for you.
okay, I don't believe that statistic at all. Where did you get that number? Did you simply ask 3 of your British friends? Because there is no way that most British women are eternally offended snowflakes who care about that kind of stuff.
So this is the Opinium Women in Gaming survey from early 2021. It was a survey of about 1,400
Owned. Like, honestly, if you don't have any evidence to disprove what they're saying on screen, then all you need to do is, that doesn't make sense. What did they do? Ask 3 women?
Kingdom gamers age 18 and over. And one of the key findings here was that 69% of women felt that there needs to be more female characters in video games in general.
Nice.
The 2/3 statistic that Dove shows here, that is from this survey. And here you might say, well, Noah, Dove didn't cite where they found that statistic on the screen, so a viewer of the ad would have no idea where to search to confirm its validity. And well, firstly, Think Before You Sleep is not just a viewer of the ad, he is a YouTube journalist, let's call him, with a big audience that's making a video that critiques this ad. All he had to do was a single.
It's just like, I say this all the time, but it's basically just people going to a content creator to just be dumber than they were before. At least what I try to do with this stream, with this broadcast, with my YouTube videos, always is to leave you with more knowledge than you had when you entered the broadcast, right? I want to give you more information. I don't want you to like come in here and then I tell you some fucking wrong shit and then you think like I'm actually informing you on a perspective and then you leave and then you repeat that and then all of a sudden everyone's like, well, actually you're wrong. Like that'd be terrible. If I did that consistently, as a matter of fact, I straight up would not have an audience. People will go away. Especially because the things that I'm advocating for and the things that I'm trying to educate you on are oftentimes things that go against the already well-established forms of oppression. So there's plenty of people, even like random normies, who have some effective counters to this sort of thing. Because in their minds, they're looking for someone to reinforce their biases. So I have to be very careful. The irony is that the right wingers will say exactly that we're wrong if we repeat things we learned here. Yeah.
Google search with some relevant terms to find this survey. It took me 10 seconds. It's really not that much work, but he didn't do it, which, that's
Lazy. This is completely lazy.
sorry. I just wanted to use that clip. It's a great sound effect. I think it's fun.
Lazy. 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 Lazy.
Later in this video, Think Before You Sleep makes an argument about another statistic from the Opinium survey, arguing that the statistic must be bullshit because some people online didn't like it.
Where exactly did you get that stat? This time it says 74%, so on this occasion, they would have had to survey at least 50 people. That's more than 3, but what do? Survey the office? How exactly did they ask the questions in the survey? because there's no way that much of the general population agrees with this woke narrative, considering that in places like America, half the population are conservatives who don't care about this, and tons of liberals are anti-feminist too. So there's no way you got a vast majority on this one. The proof being that you had...
Okay, what the fuck is he saying? What he's saying is like, he goes, source, and instead of seeking out the source, he continues to just make claims that are just sourceless. Like, have a little bit of self-respect, man. At least, like, most fucking YouTube essayists, at the very least, have the decency to, like, seek out cherry-pick data, for example, to try and make a better argument. This guy doesn't even do that. One of the best things you've ever done is show Timmy this sexless fucking nerd and then Timmy grilling him. Dude, I know that was... He still, to this day, despises me for that reason. He's like, you brainwashed Timmy into hating me. Timmy would never, the real Timmy I know, would never get mad at me for using him in my anti-feminist, anti-women in gaming video. Yeah, this guy got pushed into one too many lockers. It's Timmy the Apex GOAT? Yes.
had to censor the comments on the video.
So his proof that the general population isn't with the wokeness is that the comments were turned off on one of these Dove animations. Now, let's just ignore the fact that this channel actually has comments turned off on all of their videos and just zoom in on the likes counter where we can see that it has 500 likes and over 16,000 dislikes. That's 99%. That's a pretty wild statistic, right? If you do a survey on a topic, it's very rare to see a figure like that, 99%. This isn't exactly a controlled experiment though, is it? There's a pretty important uncontrolled variable here, which is that hundreds of rabid anti-feminist YouTubers all made the same video talking about how the Dove ad is dumb and bad because it's woke, which might have some influence on the type of people that end up seeing the ad.
I think the funniest part about this is that, like, not really people I don't think are actually asking for this, and it's not like Dove is gonna fix fucking representation in gaming and shit. I just don't know. I don't know why, like, companies do this kind of stuff. But it is always hilarious that these guys go fucking bananas mode over it. Like, it's the most significant thing that's happening in their lives. Like, holy shit, you're such a fucking loser. You never talked about why you think cocaine should be legal, bro? It's a fucking joke, man. Shut the fuck up.
Given that the ad was only really talked about online by these anti-feminists. Just a thought there, you know? All right, so let's look at another one of his arguments here, and this one regards the topic of character customization.
That, and the fact that the people who made this ad clearly don't play video games, because there are plenty of them out there with extreme levels of character customization, and it's been that way for a while, as I remember that in Phantasy Star Online from over 20 years ago, you could customize your character to be a short person of size.
I don't look like that. Not everyone looks like that. A character that looks like me in a video game and be like, yo, this baby's fire.
Yes, you can do that. If you want to create an albino character with red hair in a game, that's possible. Please, Dove, tell me more about how things that already exist in video games don't exist.
So he's...
What? Dude, what is happening? Why is this like an argument? Oh my God, these people are so insufferable. Okay. A lot of people online mistake being incredibly fucking annoying for like owning people in the marketplace of ideas, where I absolutely despise like Redditors and Reddit debates for this reason, because sometimes I'll go into a thread and I'll start reading, and it doesn't even have to be about myself. It can be about any particular subject matter, oftentimes one that I have more information on, right? And what these guys will always do, these debate lords, what they'll always do is just like become this incredibly fucking annoying, super pedantic, semantics driven nerd that takes everything hyper literal. Okay? And they're just like, and none of the arguments they make is good, really, but they just become so fucking unbearably annoying that the other side basically has to give up. It's a war of atrophy, a war of attrition, sorry. And the other side is basically saying, like, dude, I can't deal with you. You're like latching on to every little thing I'm saying. This is not how human beings are supposed to communicate with one another. I don't know. I can't. I despise these fucking weird pedantic nerds so much. And then I'm reminded that society also despises them and has already, ruined their lives in serious, very meaningful ways. So that's the reason why they're probably this way online. Really fucked up.
He's correct in pointing out that plenty of games offer character customization. He shows a couple, one of them is from 20 years ago, and one current game where he even recreated the albino woman from the ad. At least I think he did that. And if so, nice. Putting in some effort. We love to see it.
Lazy.
The question one might ask from this point, though, is that if that's the case, if these games already exist and have for 20 years, then why do women still feel underrepresented, as the survey showed? And I know he didn't read the survey because he didn't Google the survey, but I feel like that's an interesting question to ask regardless, right? Just to give my own thoughts on it. Generally speaking, I feel like gamers play games that they want to play. How they decide on what those games are is multifaceted. Maybe they have friends that play them, or they find them in game stores, or they grew up playing similar games, they see advertisements, and so on. The stat we have shows that even though women are choosing the games they want to play, probably, I don't see why they wouldn't be, other than maybe League of Legends addiction, the games they're choosing do not have the representation that women feel is adequate. And so, unless you want to push women to play games they don't want to play, just because those games have character customization, then one pretty reasonable solution here would be to push for inclusivity in all games. Just because it's currently available doesn't mean it's adequate, and clearly, according to the statistics at least, it's not. So there's still a need for some change. That change could very well be having customization offered in more games, and one way to push for that is to increase awareness that would help. Kind of like what Dove is doing with their ad campaign, which of course is not only about that. Dove is a soap company.
It also is weird because they always treat it like it's they also always treat it like Dove is forcing Fortnite to only have like fat women as playable characters. Whereas it's just like, no, they're just allowing options, man. Why do you care? Just don't fucking play with it. Like, it will never make sense to me to get this fucking mad. I don't get it. Fortnite has had playable characters every goddamn week. New playable characters every season. If it doesn't fit your interests, you don't try to boycott Fortnite or make YouTube videos about it, right? But, when it's women, or God forbid, fat women, holy shit. All hell breaks loose.
They are trying to sell soap, but this campaign does obviously represent a large-scale media push towards inclusivity, which is a good thing on its own. Don't throw the inclusivity out with the soap company's exploitation that doesn't actually ring as well as the baby bathwater version. All right, so the next thing I want to look at is Think Before You Sleep's arguments about fat people. He makes the argument that the body positivity in this ad campaign isn't about accepting all forms of unconventional beauty. It's really just about fat acceptance.
There's a second part to this Dove campaign where they decided to feature one of the models in her own commercial. Now, looking at this cast, if we're trying to promote body positivity, we have several people here who look a certain way because of how they were born, or they're in a situation that's no fault of their own. There's Sam, who is in a wheelchair, Lily, a woman with Down syndrome, and Coco, a woman with a skin disease that caused her to lose her pigmentation. Surely these women are all great choices to promote self-acceptance in the face of a situation that you can't change. Nope, Dove.
Are you arguing with me, lol? Fuck off. Then all games force over-representation now, but I don't have a problem with it. I love all people. I just play the game. Don't know why you had to argue with me. Its characters in Fortnite do look like porn stars, so I see why they got involved in this, lol. What? characters in Fortnite do look like porn stars. Bro, are you okay? Why is every person, dude, why is every person that constantly has like a critical take on sex work or porn unironically the most like porn sick, brain broken fucking guy? I've never in my life looked at Fortnite and gone, damn, this child's game, these characters are so fucking, they're making me so hard. It's exactly like the porn I watch. Well, what porn do I watch? Fortnite porn. Can't do it, man. Can't last 1 minute, dude. I'm trying to drop into tilted towers, and meanwhile, my tower is fucking tilted, brother.
Pick the obese woman.
He goes on to play an animation from this campaign that features Cynthia, a fat woman, as a video game superhero lady. And then he says this.
Are we still going to gaslight people into thinking that body positivity has anything to do with being compassionate and understanding towards people who are victims of unfortunate circumstances? I hope not, because obviously it's all just a fat acceptance narrative and a way to enable food addicts who are too in denial to fix their health issues and their appearance.
Okay, so
it's so funny because like you could make an argument to be like, listen, fat acceptance movements definitely sometimes have a tendency to go above and beyond, oftentimes by people who are backed by the very same, food and drug industry that is, peddling unhealthy products in front of you. There's a take you can make there. But then he immediately follows that up by, but obesity is a choice. And all these guys need to do is stop eating, and they're stupid for not being able to. And it's like, okay, well, you're an idiot. You're just out of your mind. That's not how any of this works.
So first off, the other women, the ones he has deemed worthy of being body positive, they are in the ad. They're in the ad. See, there they are, talking, standing. There's them again doing gaming stuff. They're just not in the other ad, the animation. The fact that they made a separate animation that features a fat woman doesn't remove the other women from the first ad. There's two ads. They're still there. The first ad even includes similar animations. No one is being gaslit here, other than Think Before You Sleep's audience.
Why is he so upset? Like, that fat woman character that they have on there is also like a pretty well-established trope. Out of all of the other characters that he could have fucking dunked on, I guess he doesn't want to come across like a total asshole for shitting on a woman in a wheelchair. Like, that one is that's a classic character. She's just thick, you know what I mean? But it's also like, am I crazy? I feel like there are like big, muscular, large women that have existed in games as like characters for a long ass time. There's also plenty of fat men in video games. I don't think he's fucking crying about that shit. And last but not least, he was like, well, this is the type of body that I want to see in video games. And he showed fucking Chun-Li, which, by the way, I like that character. I have no issues with that. But like, you think thighs like that are normal? She's literally she's like 3/4 ass and thigh. Like, what do you mean? You think that is what you're like, well, this is what I like to say. I like to see all ass and thigh. If God was real, that would be normal. Okay, I do agree with that sentiment.
I guess, because they're both still there, they're included. His real problem here is that fat people were included in this campaign at all. He elaborates on this a little bit later, and this one's just great. More investigative journalism, uncovering a conspiracy that Dove actually did this campaign to...
Okay, I'm taking it back. The guy wasn't wrong. The Fortnite guy, when he said, fuck, I'm sorry. That chatter corrected me. No, I was wrong. That chatter was right. By the way, I kind of want to play 6 Days in Fallujah because I heard it's the worst game of all time. Just straight war crime simulator. I'll play with you? What do you mean? First of all, pretty funny. Whenever a chatter's like, oh, dude, I got you. I'm like, I got you. I'll play with you. It's like, oh, thanks, man. Who asked? Finish Subnautica. Wait, hold on one second. I gotta fucking. Where did it go? I tried to buy the goddamn game and it like me back to the fucking summer sale. Oh, it's in my cart. The reason why I'm on here on the main. Oh, by the way, I'm about to finish Yakuza 0. Oh, it's a co-op game? I'm about to finish Yakuza Kiwami. I've been holding off. I have been holding off so hard on not completing it. Like, I've been on the last mission for the longest time. But it's over. It's Jover. Done it. We've done it, folks. Wait, 0 or Kiwami? I finished 0 already. Kiwami. And then I have the second one. I have a bunch of them downloaded. K2's next, please. It's so good. Majima's arc is amazing on that one. Oh, you can play with Majima again? Nice. Are you going to finish Battle of Lake Chosin? Kiwami 2 gets even more insane. Play co-op 6 Days in Fallujah with Nick Merce because he can't play COD. Kiwami was a low point for me, but you got bangers coming up if you keep going. If Kiwami was a low point in the game series, then holy shit, I'm so fucking excited because I absolutely love the Yakuza series. It's so good. It's so fucking good. Yakuza 3 is the worst one in the main series, is what people are saying. Kiwami is worse than the OG version. Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 do not have the Kiwami treatment and play like bricks. 6 is goated, though. Yeah, I don't think I can play 3. I don't think I can play 3, 4, and 5. They're not remakes, right? I bet you like the cast of 7, but it's a turn-based game. Well, let me tell you, chatter, I fucking got 7 as well. I know it's turn-based, and I still got it.
Make you buy ice cream.
In a previous video, I said that the owners of Dove, Unilever, had a vested interest in fat acceptance because they own Ben & Jerry's ice cream. I have to apologize for that statement because it was extremely inaccurate. Unilever actually owns 5 different ice cream brands. They own a popular mayonnaise brand, they own Popsicle, and they sometimes partner with Nabisco to make good humor versions of Oreos. These make up most of their food brands, and the remaining ones are still pretty much processed junk food. So is it a surprise that they would use their soap company to promote an ideology that causes people to buy more junk food like ice cream? No, it can't be about that. It's about over-sexualizing women.
Okay, he's jumping to the next thing again. We got to stop him here. The first thing to notice here is that Think Before You Sleep is pulling a little trick on you. He's doing a gag and a goof on his viewers. He calls what Dove is doing promoting an ideology that allows you to buy more junk food.
To promote an ideology that causes people to buy more junk food like ice cream?
This is a trick because in doing this, he is grouping this specific ad campaign in with some vague notion of a fat acceptance ideology, which allows him to then criticize that ideology, the totally vague one, through the medium of this campaign without actually addressing the content of the ad. In order to see how he does this, I think we should rewind a bit and actually watch the animation that he's talking about to see if his reading of that animation actually supports what he's saying here, that it's pro-junk food propaganda. Is the secret agenda to put cookies in your mouth actually there? Let's find out. So the character here, Cynthia, after defeating this goblin guy, whatever he is, he's like an ice Balrog, she goes back into the dressing room, she takes her armor off, and when she does this, it reveals that she is actually fat. And the armor was constraining her body, forming her into a slimmer figure, one that's the default among traditional sexualized female video game characters. Once her constraining armor is removed, she can relax. She is comfortable. She sits on a chair, she kicks up her feet.
Disgusting,
Clearly, this
I'm
is
so
something that
mad.
she prefers. Then, when she's back up to film, she decides to stay that way, to not fit back into her tight, uncomfortable armor, the armor her producers likely make her wear, but to go out how she wants to and feel good doing it. Then she goes off onto the set looking much happier than she did before. So where in this ad is there some push to get you to buy junk food? Where could that be drawn from? Is there a candy bar? Is there a big sign saying buy Nabisco products? Is Cynthia sitting down to crack open a nice cold jar of mayonnaise? No, she's not, and none of those things happen. What there is, though, in this ad is a fat woman. Fat woman who, in the narrative, rejects society's constraints on her and improves her situation, alleviates harm because of it. And for Think Before You Sleep, that story on its face amounts to pro-junk food propaganda. A fat person is in a commercial and they aren't running on a treadmill while eating celery, so that makes it a pro-obesity commercial. But you know, let's play along here, right? Let's just entertain his point here and say, okay, a fat woman accepting herself in an ad, you know, it's a stretch, but maybe it does cause some people to accept their fatness in a way that harms them. After all, being
That
fat
would be
is
really
generally
bad.
considered unhealthy in the medical field. So maybe this is contributing to the obesity epidemic through the normalization of being fat. So is
Famously, that's how America became so obese, because, like, you know, when this shit was skyrocketing since the 60s, well into the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, we had so much fat acceptance in the media. So much. It was all over. I mean, everyone, who could forget all of the size 0 women that got everyone to accept being fat, and that's how the obesity rate skyrocketed. Dude, we're only fat because we put so many fat people on a pedestal. Lol. Yeah, exactly. That's how it happened. It has absolutely nothing to do with the exact opposite of that situation, where fat acceptance came after 60% of the population was obese. And more so that obesity rate has everything to do with our unhealthy diet choices, and also lobbying, and the way that the way that we do not present any sort of healthy alternatives, and there's no regulation whatsoever on the type of food that people eat and what that food is being made with, specifically corn and its subsidies.
Is this the case? Does fat representation make people fatter? Does limiting this representation contribute to any sort of health benefits? And, well, no. No, it doesn't. There's no evidence for that whatsoever. Not that Think Before You Sleep videos require any evidence, he's just talking. But the research actually shows that the opposite is true. Quoting from a meta-analysis here on the relationship between body image and body weight control, misperception and dissatisfaction with body weight are risk factors for participating in an unhealthy lifestyle and make it harder to follow a healthier lifestyle. Body image disturbance also made it more likely to underreport calorie intake. Negative body image is also closely linked to multiple different health problems, including things like depression and stress. Depression and stress are linked to weight gain and obesity. Ergo, having a negative body image does not help you lose weight. Oftentimes, it's the opposite. It helps you gain weight, and it keeps you generally unhealthy. On top of this, in the same way that
this is 100% true, which is why fat shaming, which is why I always say fat shaming doesn't actually work to make you skinny. Makes you fat.
Negative body image is bad for your health, positive body image is actually good for it. There's a study here, positive body image is positively associated with emotional and psychological and social well-being in British adults. Body appreciation significantly predicted all dimensions of well-being. Think Before You Sleep hates it when people are fat. He wants them to stop being fat. So he should actually love this Dove ad campaign. The campaign is promoting positive self-image, and positive self-image promotes health in a myriad of ways, which does include people maintaining healthier habits when it comes to eating. That's what he wants, right? The fact that he hates it demonstrates to me two things. One, that Think Before You Sleep is operating with military-grade media illiteracy, given how he so badly misinterpreted this animation. And two, that he doesn't actually care about fat people. He just doesn't want to see them in media. He doesn't want to see them at all. So he gets mad at the Dove ad instead of, looking away, doing something else, which is, it's funny, it's very funny.
Well, if people around me didn't tell me that I was obese, I wouldn't be able to give 50 kilograms, so I don't think like that. Wait, what? Yeah? You found out you were obese when fucking people around you told you, really? That's awesome. Hey, I know you have a study in front of you, but have you ever considered that I was obese and I had no fucking idea that I was obese until someone told me I was? Mirrors don't exist. Yeah, mirrors don't exist because guess what? The mirror world. Not like that, but they encouraged to work for myself more, says Olux John. This Turkish chatter. 100% Turkish. Okay, so they didn't fat shame you then. Is that what you're saying? So they encourage you to work out. That's called positive reinforcement.
I want to talk about today concerns the idea of sexualization. Think Before You Sleep doesn't like it when characters in games are wrongfully labeled as sexualized.
Había dos personajes, mujeres, nada más. Los dos eran dos personajes súper sexualizados. Y nada, eran las dos opciones que tenía para elegir.
Sorry, for some reason they had her speak Spanish even though she can speak English, but she said two female characters from a game that they never identified were over-sexualized. Whatever that means, because they'll call Laura Croft hyper-sexualized for just standing there and doing nothing sexual.
So he doesn't think that Lara here is being sexualized. Lara, it's spelled Lara, but I thought it was Laura. I don't know. His reasoning for that is that she's just standing there. Okay, so first off, does he think that a character needs to be butt naked and doing the splits in order to be sexualized? There are other factors that go into this definition beyond what a character is doing. In the case
someone in the chat says he sounds like the Gundam insult dude. They all sound like that. I feel like if that was my voice, I would do everything I can. I would do voice training to not sound like the fucking Simpsons nerd meme. It's so weird. They all sound exactly the fucking same. No, this guy isn't the Gundam incel. This is another one. I don't know why they're always like, Lara Croft is not being sexualized. She's just being herself. Also, if you were to change her body type, I'd get very mad. It's like, what if she's not being sexualized? Why do you give a fuck what her body looks like, dumbass? What do you mean?
Here, Laura is wearing short shorts and a tight crop top, revealing her legs and midriff.
Pancake flat midriff.
Laura is a character who shoots people and runs through the woods and shit. This outfit is clearly impractical for that purpose, but she's wearing it because she is being sexualized. The main thing with this example...
I also don't give a shit about this, for the record. Great. I'm happy with more inclusion and more diversity and all of this stuff. But I also, on the other hand, don't give a fuck about super sexy characters being super sexy. Yeah, that's my take on it. 100% being sexualized, and I'm okay with that. Exactly. That's my take as well. I do not give a fuck. It's great. I'm not going to play the Lara Croft Tomb Raider games anyway, but like in the games I do play, when there are sexy ass characters, it's awesome. It's great. Same goes for dudes as well, you know? I like a wide variety of characters in my video games, and I do think that like sexy ass characters also factor into that.
Though, is that Laura's body has proportions that are unrealistic in comparison with the vast majority of people. These proportions are considered sexually attractive and are thus created by the developers with the intent of appealing to the male gamer gaze. Those are the arguments in favor of the idea that this character is being sexualized. Okay, so now let's roll the next clip of this guy, what this guy's saying.
But I get it. Video games sexualize women way too much. Let's see how Dove intends to remedy this problem.
Wait, did you say who's sexier, Majima or Kiryu? That's not even a question. As much as I love Majima as a character, Kiryu is the sexiest. What do you mean? It's not even no, Majima is not the sexiest. Come on, dude. Oh, really, dude? That's like fucking no, Majima's haircut is awful. It's literally awful. Get the fuck out of here. Kiryu is an objectively beautiful man. Okay? You guys are so wrong. You're sucked by Majima's super sweet, super cool character, which is true. He is awesome. He is the GOAT. I love Majima. But Kiryu is absolutely better looking. Majima in Yakuza 0 before the fucking haircut, maybe.
Well, that's one way to start. We have a woman here who was fully covered up, who then changed into something that was more revealing.
Kiryu-chan!
She basically is in the same outfit that Lara Croft was in.
So he takes Dove to task here for sexualizing this character, Cynthia, because she's showing more skin, immediately after crying about how this isn't sexualized. Do you notice anything here about anything related to skin? She's showing it, a bunch of it. His definition of sexualization here has changed. To him, this is sexualized, but this isn't? Look, all she's doing is sitting there.
For just standing there and doing nothing sexual.
That doesn't make any sense. It does, though, when you realize that his definition is entirely dependent on whether or not it helps his argument. A major theme of this ad is that Cynthia is closer to this body type, but is required to wear armor that squeezes.
This sound is literally in my brain. It's just like permanently stapled into my mind.
Her into this body type. The armor is the sexualized one, dude. Please, I beg of you, go take a media literacy course. God, my God. Okay, the last part with this is real weird, so go ahead and strap in. It concerns the framing of one of the shots from the animation, and Think Before You Sleep has certain feelings about this shot.
Let's see what's next. So now we have a bent over ass shot that is center of the frame that adds nothing to the story. They went full on anime camera angles and somehow they're going to claim that it's not an attempt at sexualizing the character.
Buddy, you're real worked up. You gotta relax. When Think Before You Sleep sees this shot here, to him, it's the same as this shot here. Now, do we notice anything different about these two shots? Well, the anime shot is just one thing. It's someone's butt, it's a low angle of a skirt, and it's a, very That's all that's in the frame. But the shot of Cynthia has other information in it. Namely, it shows her standing between two posters of herself in the armor. Now, this is up for interpretation, of course, but my reading of it is that she's constrained and sandwiched in the frame between these posters, just like the armor constrains and sandwiches her body. And so when she leaves, she's breaking away from it or something. But even if Think Before You Sleep wanted to have an accurate reading of this shot, he wouldn't be able to. Because when he looks at this shot, all he sees is this. He's so worked up about seeing a woman from behind that his brain fails to render the rest of the frame, causing him to miss some key information that would help him interpret this image more accurately. He blames Dove for this somehow, which is amazing, but it's also...
Dove made me uncomfortably horny and unable Dove made me uncomfortably horny and unable to fully grasp the entire scenery by showing me a big fat ass. Fucked up, dude. Dove, you did this to me.
A great example of how sexualization works. He watched the ad and got to this frame, and instead of taking it all in and looking at it objectively, he looks right at Cynthia's ass and doesn't see anything else. Truly just wild stuff, and a pretty interesting example of a self-report. You gotta calm down when you're making videos. You gotta go outside, take a walk, come back in when you're ready. Okay, so those are all the arguments I wanted to look at today in the video.
No, that's too much of a cherry picking. It's definitely sexualizing. This is sexualizing. This frame is sexualizing. If you think this frame is sexualizing, you quite literally are self-reporting. Also, you should probably jerk off. Like, you just can't. You're down so abysmal, dude.